welcome to the new Secret Life of Pets. See the sign over there? That's actually the entrance of the attraction right there. That's Katie's apartment. We're actually standing in a new intersection, the intersection of Minion and Pets Way here. As you can probably see, of course, the old Globe Theater is no longer here, and our new adventure is right behind you. So feel free to ask any questions you want to. What I thought I'd do is just kind of give you a quick overview here. Unfortunately, we can't ride the ride. We're cycling, and so what I can do is take you through the queue line, give you a little bit of story insights, talk a little bit about some of the things you would see on the ride, and that's about what we're able to do today. So if that's okay. So about 2.5 years in the making with Illumination, working very closely, of course, with Chris Meldondry and his writers and the entire team over there to come up with this adventure. I like to say that the one universal language that I know most people have is the only true unconditional love we get in this life sometimes from our pets. So it's that kind of heartfelt experience that extends to the brand, and obviously what our objective is with the new ride. So what the narrative is, when we first enter Katie's apartment right behind you, we immediately become aware we're greeted by Norman and throughout the queue line a series of the pets from the films, and they recognize us as lost puppies and in need of a home. So of course Snowball, who's alpha personality Kevin Hart, has planned to get us to this adoption fair, which is just about over, but we've got to get across town to the pet store where the adoption fair is to meet our new parents. So we go through a queue line that's very unique. There are no monitors. There's one monitor, but it's not like your traditional queue line. You're actually going to be going through Katie's apartment building, through a series of apartments where you're seeing, how the folks live. Of course, there's no people in there, but you'll run into other animals, other pets, who will also be reinforcing the storyline all the way through. Once we get to the ride, the ride vehicles, as you'll see, are boxes, because that's how a lot of times puppies are stored. So we become puppies, and as we get on the ride, one of the first experiences we see, we kind of make a turn into what I'll call the grand scene of New York, and we pass by an electronics store, and the electronics store has a big monitor in it, and as we pass by it, we have our first sample of what I'll call this advanced optical gesture tracking technology, where we actually see ourselves as puppies. So it tracks our movements, it tracks our heads, tracks our eyes, but add in like some fun things, because it's like 15 different types of puppies, and you're identified as that singular puppy throughout the ride. And your ears move, and it's fun. So you'll go through, and end up going through New York. You'll see the richness of the sets. All along the way, you'll be helped and reinforced by the other pets from the films. And you'll go to a couple of places where we all recognize, like Cat Alley, very emblematic of the first film. And Snowball has some wacky ideas about how to get us to where we need to get to. So we'd go on quite the adventure. And at one point he straps a rocket on his back and thinks it's a good idea to go through a fireworks factory. So that becomes very engaging, and I don't want to give too much of it away. But we end up then going through and surviving that, but we're kind of singed up a little bit, so we finally make it to the pet shop. We got to take a little bit of a bath. Don't worry, you don't get wet like Jurassic, but you get cleaned up so you can look your best to potentially be adopted. And as you go through that sequence, you also once again see yourselves as puppies, getting wet, being blown dry, being cleaned up, and then you actually get to meet your adoptive parents, and then we have one big party if they have something. So that's kind of the story conceit in a nutshell. I'd be very interested to hear your candid opinion of our queue line as we walk through, because again, it's kind of just this free flow. It's non-pulsed, so as you're just kind of going through it at a leisurely pace. We anticipate the queue line would be about 20 to 30 minutes long, and interested to get your take.
Is it done like Jimmy Fallon, where like there's a color thing that advances you to the next room?
Nope.
So you just walk through?
You're just walking through.
All right.
You just get to breeze through, and if you want to hang out in one place or another, you can kind of do that for a little bit too. So you're just free to do what you want to do.
But you could be essentially held in a room if there's a lot of people. If there's a queue, if there's not a queue.
The ride is continuous,
okay.
so it should always be moving.
Okay.
So Anyway,
How long is the attraction?
about between 4 and 5 minutes. Anything else? Okay.
What was the most difficult part of the illusion of making people kind of look like animals? What was that process like?
It was actually it was challenging, but it was a lot of fun. It's a technology that our advanced technologies group worked on very closely, and we did a lot of R&D on it to make sure that it worked. Because you think about it, you can either be too literal, where you're doing this and it's going to track you precisely, but it won't make your ears move. It won't have the character. It's so important to kind of have all that be very seamless, where you see yourself, and you need to be as lovable as an Illuminations pet, right? Or puppy dog. So, facial expressions, we needed to pre-render those, but it still follows your facial expression. So it was, it's kind of technology, but it's also making it the heartfelt, moments. So this is kind of just the beginning of this very casual walk, and you can see Norman's here, and he's going to greet us. This is a out-of-order elevator, and he'll say, "Oh, you look like you're lost, guys. Why don't you go check out and see our friends? Maybe they can help you out." So we'll walk in here.
Do not learn my name. We will
And
not.
while the furniture looks good,
She's kidding.
No.
do not
Come
try to
on,
jump on it.
Chloe. We can't just ignore them. They probably. Oh, a fly. That's got my focus. Hey, fly. Do you need any help? Hey, little dude. I'm here for you. Where are you going? Come back.
So you'll see these kind of little
Well, it
vignettes
looks like
throughout.
that's your cue to leave. Anyway, I'd say it's been great, but who are we kidding?
So as we continue to walk through, there will be little things that we can kind of do along the way. One of them is you'll see these mailboxes. They don't all open, but in this case, this one does. The audio levels are not really set, but this will be partially open, so you'll be encouraged to kind of go look through there. And you'll see another secret moment in the life of pets when we're not home. So there's one of those over here, and there's be another one over there behind that door. So go ahead and take a look at that. You can actually open that up all the way if you want to.
That's really fun.
So this is kind of another fun thing to do.
Well, interactive elements.
Yeah.
Oh, fun.
So, and of course, a lot of us will recognize the iconic moment of the blender scratching somebody behind or back. And he'll be fully articulated. He'll be sitting there enjoying himself, and then slowly be put to sleep by the gentle massage he's receiving. So he's just putting the final touches on our kitchens. And so again, the idea, we're just walking through the apartment, and then we'll see Norman from time to time, who is known for getting lost in the vents. He'll probably find something he thinks is a buddy, but it turns out to be a dust bunny instead. And he's just always wondering where he is. And
Hey, puppy. Still looking for Max and Duke? Yeah, I hear that. Story of my life. It's like, should I go down that tunnel to the left? Or should I go to the right? The world is full of so many mysteries. Okay, definitely could have gone to the left.
so we have Katie's actual apartment here.
Oh, very cool.
So still kind of in the process of finishing everything up, of course. And of course, we'll go to Liam's room, which is her son. Not the actual carpet that you'll see. It's actually a very nice carpet we're still waiting for. But then here you have another gag of Norman's. He'll come in here and kind of also just...
Guys, good news and great news. Good news is you found Max and Duke's apartment. The great news is I found a friend. Look at this fluffy son of a gun. He could be my twin. Hello, handsome. Oh no, this is just a dust bunny. Just a clump of dust. Not gonna lie, pretty disappointed. Still a cool guy though.
So we just walk this way. In this scene, we begin to see a higher level of characters.
Very cool.
So this is where we'll see Max and Duke. And again, they'll be reinforcing the story point. Hey, you guys look lost. Hey, I got an idea. Snowball's in the next room. Why don't you go down and see him? And there's enough in here, content, where if you want to sit and kind of, not sit, but if you want to stand and kind of be in here for a minute or two, that's fine. Or if you want to walk straight through, that's fine too. So again, very free flowing. You know, a lot of art direction, a lot of thought went into from Illuminations and ourselves in terms of, you know, what do these places actually look like, fully dimensionalized. Now in this room we have kind of the pet post, or what's supposed to be a YouTube version of a channel, and this is Pops' disobedience school. So in this video he kind of has all these other puppies that he's training
Testing!
how to do
Testing,
things.
is this on? There we go. All right, you lucky sons of guns. Pop's Puppy School is back in session. And this year, we're putting the class online.
Hooray!
So I can teach all you puppies at home without having to actually meet you. Class, line up. Pickles. And now our daily pledge.
I promise to listen to Pops and learn how to be adorable,
And loving.
and loving. To get what I want, when I want it.
Good enough. All right, our first lesson is nutrition. What are the 4 food groups? Yes, Princess.
Dry food, wet food, people food, and treats.
Correctoroonie.
What about sweaty socks?
That's dessert. Now pay attention, you rookies. Today, I'm going to tell you about, Myron, drum roll, the treat spot.
What's the treat spot, Mr. Pops?
Let's say your owner throws a stick. You want that treat, so you go fetch that stick. But you only bring it back about halfway. Why?
Because the longer you train, the more treats you get.
Welcome to the treat spot.
Do I get a treat?
No! Now it's time to discuss a very serious topic. Poop. Nothing funny about poop, especially at my age. Anyway, you want to keep doing your business in different parts of the house. In the closet, under the rug. Get creative with it. Because remember, owners love finding your poop. They collect it in little plastic bags.
Why?
Who knows? They're nuts. Well, that's it. In our next video, we discuss begging for food from humans. Are a few table scraps worth your dignity?
So is that? So did you say there's more than one video of that? Or is
Yeah,
that just the main one?
it'll sequence through a couple different ones.
Gotcha. Oh, cool.
So, okay, no pictures.
Yeah.
So this is actually our most complicated character, Snowball here, and he'll welcome us and tell us all about his plan to help us get adopted. So he's very articulated, goes back and forth, and this is our method programmer right here. So he's in character too. So yeah, this is going to be great. Very articulate, very cool.
So he bounces back and forth. I'm assuming?
Yes, he
that's very cool.
goes back and forth across here.
Sweet.
And then we end up in the mailroom of the apartment building. Again, apologies, can't really go out there right now for safety reasons, but this is where we go. If you take a look, you see the video up above, it's kind of our Bon Voyage video, another one just kind of reinforcing the storyline. But in that first window down below, that's the window that's got the monitor in it where we'll first see ourselves as pets, or as puppies. And this is very fun. I have felt guilty about doing some of these walks without the ability to take people back there, but I don't have a choice, sorry. But this, like I said before, we go through a very big scene with New York. All the pets are in there, Pop's in there, Max and Luke's in there. We go through a very rich environment, and there's going to be so many Easter eggs, quite frankly, in this ride, because every shop name, every little thing means something. So I don't want to really go into it just yet, but suffice it to say, we work very closely with Illuminations. There's a lot of just kind of nods to various people and individuals that, either historically or whatever else. So it's a lot of fun.
Tell me a little bit about the ride vehicles here. Obviously, it looks like two people.
Yes.
Is there anything interesting? Is this all on one level? It
Yes.
seems like they rotate.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the whole ride is on one level. They do rotate, and that's why one of the things we really wanted to do, and we played around a lot with different designs. And we have onboard audio, we have scene audio. We wanted it to be very immersive. Even though we're directing you, we wanted to have it feel very open because you're going to be in a lot of great environments. So yeah, you come through and you kind of rotate, but it's not designed to spin you for the sake of disorienting you or anything. It's very focused, and it's such a rich series of environments. We have 64 characters, so there's a lot of animated characters out there. And we do have some surprises in terms of some media effects, but they're also married with physical effects.
What's the height restriction?
I believe it's 36 inches.
Oh, okay.
So it's the age is very broad.
Yeah.
I noticed there's stairs in the queue. Are there any other ways to get up here for people who can't go upstairs?
Absolutely. There's a whole other separate line where people either in the express lane or wheelchair ADA compliant has elevators.
Will they be part of the queue doing that?
No, they rejoin up above. No, we really thought carefully about that because we had to make it. On one hand, we're dealing in a very confined space. Here in Hollywood, there's not a lot of open real estate, so you have to be really smart with it. At the same time, you have to make sure everybody gets the benefit of being able to see the show.
So you said this is all one level, so is downstairs just all queue?
Yes.
And
And retail. Don't forget retail.
I know you said there's a lot of media in the attraction itself. Are there
Not too much.
not too much media?
No.
Are there physical animatronics in the attraction as well? Like
Yes.
there is in the queue?
Like I said, there are 64 animated figures in this
Animated
attraction.
figures, yeah.
So there are a lot of animated figures. That's why this is different. This is not a media show as such. I know a lot of people tend to break things down or try to categorize that like, well, Despicable. Well, it's a themed environment, but it's a simulation experience, or DreamWorks or whatever else. But this is very much a physical experience. There are a couple of media effect elements in here, but this is a physical experience. So again, you take a look at the toolkit you want to use to really key on the branded experience. In this case, since the characters are the heart, they're the heartbeat of everything. You want to be close to the characters. You want to be able to see Max and Duke in there. You're going to want to be able to see Max and Duke here. You see them all throughout the ride. They're with us. They're following us. They appear to follow us. So that's why we have a lot of animated characters. Yeah.
Unload is different from load, it appears.
In terms of,
You're unloading at a different. It doesn't look like you'd be.
no, you're not unloading here. Yeah,
Right,
you're
right.
unloading on the other side.
Okay.
And is there a separate load for handicap accessible, or is it one of those things where this will slow down to get people on, or
We
possibly stop?
will slow down or stop. Yeah, we have a specific vehicle for that, for ADA compliant issues. So it's not the same vehicle. It's a little bit bigger, fits a wheelchair in it. So we have a whole policy
So you stay in
procedure.
wheelchair.
Yes.
Do we see any in-jokes or references to other Universal attractions, maybe something that's occupied the space before?
You'll see some nods as you go through this ride to, let's just say, other IE things. So, you'll see bits and pieces. Like I said, there's a lot of little hidden things here. So there's a lot to see. I mean, when you go through New York, you'll want to go through New York a couple times because you just won't see it. There's, forced perspective, big skyline, but there's a lot of characters, a lot of storefronts. There's a couple shadow projectors. Like we have a yoga studio where you see the shadow of people doing yoga, but out front you've got a dog doing, upward facing dog yoga. So and you've got, Buddy who's at a hot dog stand who's stealing hot dogs. You've got a lot of this very charming, engaging, and lovable characters along the way.
Where does this take place in the storyline as far as the films are concerned?
As we usually try to do, it's not linked to a time as so much as it's an offshoot. It's its own place. But there are characters here from the latter films, so it kind of incorporates those characters as well. But it's not necessarily before or after. Obviously, Katie has Liam, So she's married, has a child. So it's kind of in that same period.
All the voice actors from the movies?
Yes, which was almost, that's like the funnest part, right? Because you get to have Kevin Hart come in and, you write a script, and we worked very closely with Illuminations, which was great. And Kevin does the script, and then he just starts ripping stuff, and sometimes you get just this amazing gold nugget of stuff. And so it was great working with the whole cast.
That older dog in that video is a Dana card.
Yes, it is.
Okay,
He was great too. So yeah. So no, they were all fantastic. Super great to work with. That's why it's a fun relationship we have, and of course a great and deep one with Illuminations, because their products are fantastic, their films are fantastic, their brands are fantastic. They're great to work with, very collaborative. And all the voice talent is there, and it's got the top-notch, top-drawer performers. It's terrific.
If I may ask, what is the reason for the height requirement?
It's a safety issue.
Okay.
In terms of anything shorter, I think, than 36 inches is like, are you walking yet or not? And are you, would your parents have to carry you? But there are state requirements that cover those kind of things that, quite frankly, I'm probably not the best person to speak to. But there are regulations about certain types of rides. So, but 36 covers it's pretty broad.
Yeah, that's cool.
Anything else?
Speak about obviously this is the first dark ride of this kind that Universal has done for a while, and this park specifically. Can you just talk about the strategy of why mixing up the type of ride is important?
Well, the company took a look at, you take a look at where we are right now, and kind of the marketplace, and you have this great, very broad IP, which is really the sweet spot of Illumination, where it's family. It's not necessarily little kids, but it's family. So it made a perfect complement to the area that we're in right now. It made all the sense in the world to put it next to Despicable Me and have this become kind of an Illuminations land or Illuminations neighborhood. And it was, again, you take a look at the toolbox of what you want to do and how you want to execute the immersion level. And and taking a look at this again, since you wanted to be close to characters, the best way to make you feel that is, in this case, not through media. In this case, it was by taking you through the actual places that you'd recognize from the film, immerse you in those ways that you couldn't do with a traditional media-based experience.